Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all are completely charged up now. Yeah? Well, sounds good. So, let me once again tell you that Reliance Communication is giving away Reliance tabs to 3 lucky winners present here today. So, are you all ready for the lucky draw? Yeah? I can't hear you. Great. So if you are, even I'm ready for the lucky draw, but you'll have to wait for some more time because we've got something really interesting before that. And that's the technology session. So we have a list of eminent speakers who have years of experience. They will be sharing their views and knowledge. That would be of great use to all of us, of course. And so let me also add to this that we'll be having the lucky draw towards the end of this conference. So I would now like to start with Mr. Mehul Kapadia, VP and Head Marketing and Strategy SME India, Tata Communications. He is an engineer with specialization in electronics and telecommunication and an MBA with specialization in marketing. He was instrumental in the integration of the acquisition of the broadband business of DishNet into Tata Communications and headed the entire portfolio of products. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the one and only Mr. Mehul Kapadia.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. So, we had an interesting morning session where I think a lot of us learned as to how do we generate money, how do we get better ratings. So let's talk about how we can spend some of that money. Okay, maybe spend it wisely. So what we have put together is a 15-minute, 20-minute kind of a conversation with you, more in terms of as a telecommunications company, how does Tata Communications view the SME in terms of how it can create an organization in future? You know, it's a cliched term in a way to say that technology is changing, boundaries are invisible, but the fact is that that is rampantly happening in India now. I just spoke to a customer about 2 weeks back. Interestingly, he used to be a trading partner of a company from Singapore and did some work in Mumbai. He's actually now gone and acquired the Singapore company. You know, so the Indian SME is really, really now marching ahead and is doing a lot of things which are pretty much unheard of. SMEs are also now becoming MNC SMEs in that sense. So, and the other important thing which is happening in today's organizations is that the SMEs are now having their younger lot actually coming in. And this younger lot is extremely tech savvy. These are the guys who are drive agents, and I'm sure a lot of the people in the audience today will relate to it, that actually now you want to use technology because you're no longer afraid of what technology can do for you. You actually do believe that it is important and it is productive for you. But the most important part is, are we using the technology well? One survey that we've referred to actually gives you a little bit of view on what organizations are today doing in the SME space. A large part of the spend is actually going in hardware and capex. Now, this is not necessarily hardware and capex which is core to your business. So if you're a manufacturing unit, you would rather invest in more machines rather than probably investing in PCs and servers and routers and switches. You know, if you're an IT company, then you want to actually invest in your human resource. Okay, rather than trying to invest in more capex towards telecom equipment. But that's what is happening today. And then once you have bought this big white elephant, you obviously need to invest more money to service it through the course of the year. So very little money actually remains for you to invest in technology for new development. Whether it is a new manufacturing process, whether it's a new advertising related media equipment that you want to do. So one of the things that hence needs to fundamentally change is the way we look at it. And it's not an easy transition. The transition is something that could happen over a period of time. But very clearly, if you now mapped it back to all your specific needs, that you're a manufacturing company with a lot of remote locations, or you're a retail company with now technology needed in POS, security, those kind of things, or if you're IT or stockbroking, you definitely need a lot of ICT in yourself. So how do you optimize your spend then? How do you really become an organization of the future where you start investing more in something that will make you more productive rather than investing in something which is more of a hardware cost? And that's where really comes in the cloud. Now, you could call it the cloud, you could call it the network of the future, name it the way you want to. But the fact is that this is something which can really change the way you look at your ICT spends. It gives you an intelligent network, it gives you a lot of other services which can happen on an on and off basis. See, we're all used to, and I think a lot of our businesses are actually seasonal or cyclical. There are up times and there are down times. And during those courses, how do you manage your spends? If you've invested in CapEx, you're actually paying for it every month. If you've invested in servers and created a mini data center in your office, you're ending up spending money on real estate which you should not. That's where if you actually looked at this concept of cloud and started adopting it, and there are various ways in which this gets adopted, it can actually prove to be substantially beneficial. So let's look at it. If you're a intelligent network of the future, and purposely put a very complex slide here so that you look here rather than there, okay? But the point is that do you really want to create something as complex, or do you want your telecommunications partner to actually take care of all of this? And if your telecommunications partner actually took care of this, what happens to you? That's where it comes in cloud computing. Yeah? First of all, you can remove a lot of your physical hardware and software. Automatically, you convert a lot of your CapEx to OpEx. You don't use your working capital to fund your CapEx. We had a similar SME conclave in Delhi on Tuesday, and one of the important points that one of the SMEs raised there was that I'm having to actually use my working capital to at times fund a PC expansion or a server expansion. How can I use my working capital better? Maybe this is a way for you to do it. It obviously cuts down procurement cycles and hence overheads. Definitely it gives you a strategic advantage compared to your competitor. Because if you are in a position to scale up faster, if you're in a position to have your manufacturing unit come up faster, if you're in a position to take that little IT project which can actually, be delivered better than your competitor because you have something which is on an on and off basis, you're increasing your capacity, it definitely gives you a strategic advantage. Lower risk of failure. I mean, at the end of it, if your business for whatever reason for the next 2 months doesn't need that kind of stuff, you just reduce your spend there. Yeah, your risk reduces. Overall, if you see, it creates a very efficient way of managing your ICT. And if you see today, it's not necessary that everyone can move into this cloud kind of an experience immediately. There are various levels with which it happens. If you look at typically the traditional way of managing your ICT, everything you manage. You get an internet connection in, you get a lease line, then you go and get your servers, you get an IT guy locally to help you out. If you're a larger organization, you'll actually appoint a general manager IT as well. But over a period of time, actually, if you were to look at using some of these cloud benefits, so if you introduce infrastructure as a service, so you take part of your infrastructure, moved it to the data center of a telecom provider, and these days in India, we've started getting better net connectivity. So what it does is, some part of it you manage, some part of it your partner starts managing. As you go further, you start using more applications. So your CRM application, your ERP application if you're using one. Or for example, if you're a media company and you have a lot of data files. So rather than adding multiple hard disks at your end, you actually now start putting it onto the cloud. And finally, you could actually move to a model which is completely software as a service-based model, where you just get in a big thick pipe into your organization, get in the nice tools that you want, and get your organization to completely run off the net. If you look at this entire architecture, it over a period of time actually gives you the complete benefits of scalability. You add more employees, not a problem. You add more customers, not a problem. You add more locations, not a problem. All of it can start adding into pieces for you. A quick case study to bring this point alive. This is a mobile media company. Somebody is hosting a lot of content on the mobile for a lot of mobile operators in India. Small SME, a typical SME, idea-based guy. His focus is to focus on the idea, And what did he have? Initially, when he set up, he had lots of servers, hence needed a lot of connectivity, plus he needed to have a lot of maintenance happening on it. And with the mobile boom happening, it became difficult for him to keep scaling up. I mean, if you have a data center in your office, imagine how much of your productive space you're actually moving it into that data center kind of a thing. We analyzed the customer's requirement, came out with a solution for him, which very clearly said that, do you do more servers now to expand or do you do cloud? And by doing this cloud-based kind of a service, all the benefits that I spoke about, scalability, faster time to market, and the savings came through. Just a representative number, he managed to do it at 35% of the cost. So at 1/3 the cost, he's actually managed to do everything that he wanted to do. Now this is clearly representative. Case to case it could differ. But there are advantages. There are clear strategic advantages. Yes, are we ready as a country today in all parts of our locations? The answer is no. There are enough places within our country today which don't have the best kind of internet connectivity. So this is not something that will happen overnight. But if you really are looking at building your organization for the future, if you can really start picking up the right pieces and the building blocks from now, over a period of time, you will see a whole host of these benefits coming to you. So just to quickly summarize, A, it reduces a lot of your operational cost and capital expenditures. B, it gives an opportunity to access new and up-to-date technologies, because as more and more things start coming up, you don't need to worry about the version 2.x. It's been taken care of by your operator. Yeah? It definitely reduces IT overheads, and especially for companies which don't have IT as their core line of business, I think this is important to reduce your IT overheads. And overall, it gives you a big strategic advantage. So that's a quick view from our side in terms of how actually the organization of the future can be. Thank you. Any questions? Happy to take them now. Yep. Take it in there. Okay. Thank you. Sorry.
I request you to stay back, and I would like to felicitate Mr. Mehul. Can we have the lovely hostess on stage, please? With a huge round of applause, of course. Thank you very much for being a part of this. Thank you. Next, ladies and gentlemen.